At this stage in the proceedings, we'd like to offer our warmest congratulations to Paul Nuttall MP on his victory in the Stoke-on-Trent by-election.
We can say that the people of Stoke Central have given a good, clear victory to the Labour Party. I'm delighted about that, but we've got lots of work to do.
Let me just interrupt you there, because we've been watching pictures of Paul Nuttall leaving in a bit of a rugby scrum there, leaving the count, the sports centre where the count has taken place. I'm not sure, I'll just maybe try and get confirmation. Paul Nuttall didn't speak in the end? Is that he didn't say anything? Has he just left the hall or not? Can we just... He didn't do a speech there, he's just gone out. And in a sense, although Labour winning is the story from Stoke, but the story almost up there with it will be Mr Nuttall himself, and that will carry on during the day. Let's go to the victor of Stoke-on-Trent Central tonight. Gareth Snell is joining us there from the count. Mr Snell, you won, but you won on a reduced majority and a lower share of the vote. Why do you think that was?
Well, look, I mean, the issue is that we won the election. We had a hard-fought campaign that focused on the NHS and the issues that affected local people. In the end, they chose to elect a Labour Member of Parliament, and I'm very glad about that.
But in a constituency like Stoke-on-Trent, which has been Labour for as long as anybody can remember, in a by-election in the middle of a Conservative government, would you not have been expected to increase your majority and your share of the vote?
I'm just very happy, Andrew, that the people of Stoke-on-Trent Central, when provided with a range of candidates, have opted to elect a Labour candidate and elected me as their Member of Parliament. This campaign has been about many issues, and while there may have been a slight decrease in our share of the vote, turnout was much further down than the last general election, and I'm very happy with the result that we've had this evening.
You had a fight on your hands, though, a fight which you've won. And probably won a bit better than some may have thought you did. But it was a fight nevertheless, and there were concerns in the Labour Party. Do you accept that in what you might regard as more normal times for the Labour Party, your victory would not have been in doubt?
No, look, every by-election has to be taken seriously. We have fought this election on the issues that matter to local people. We have listened to them, and we have a plan to help them. And ultimately, people have come out and voted for the Labour Party. Look, by-elections are never going to be straightforward, and we fight for every vote. Nobody takes any vote for granted.
But you have continued the trend, which is well established in Stoke since 1997, of a continuously declining Labour share of the vote. Now, in a Labour heartland constituency, which you now represent, why is your share of the vote in consistent decline?
Well, I mean, I can't provide you with an immediate answer to that, but what I can say is that I want to see as many people voting as possible, and so between now and the next general election, I should be back out on the streets, talking to people who didn't use their vote and trying to find out the reasons why, and then giving them a good positive reason to vote Labour at the general election. And I think that is the way that we are going to start to turn around voter decline, not just in Stoke-on-Trent, but across the country.
How big an asset in your victory was Mr Corbyn?
Jeremy came and campaigned for me 3 times. Whenever we knocked on a door and he spoke to somebody, they were very happy to see him. He came and fired up the members at a number of rallies, and he was very much an asset.
So he contributed to your victory, you think?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that,
He
Andrew.
contributed to your victory?
Absolutely. Look, this was a victory for the whole Labour Party and the Labour movement. Jeremy was the leader of our party and has come to Stoke-on-Trent 3 times, and the victory will be shared by everybody.
Where would you position yourself in the Labour Party?
I am a member of the Labour Party, and I'm now a member of the Parliamentary Labour Party, and that is what I will be concentrating on.
No, but within the spectrum of the Labour Party, where would you position yourself?
Look, I'm not going to get into factionalism with you, Andrew. What this is about is a Labour Party that when we are united, when we are determined, we can win in the toughest of circumstances, and we have shown that in Stoke-on-Trent this evening. Well,
let me narrow it down. I would suggest, Mr Snell, you're not a Corbynista, right?
Look, the leadership election has been and gone. The purpose of the Labour Party now is to unite and take the fight to the Tory party, and that is exactly what I will be doing from Parliament as the Member of Parliament for Stoke-on-Trent Central.
Now that you're an MP, are you going to continue tweeting?
I shall be taking some guidance on the matter, but certainly I think social media is a very good way of engaging with the public.
Very well. Well, we look forward to the outcome of that because it's certainly given us plenty to talk about in the past. Mr. Snell, we'll let you go. It's been a long time for you and a long campaign, and we thank you for joining us straight off of your victory speech, Gareth Snell.
Thank you very much,
the new
Andrew.
Labour MP for Stoke-on-Trent Central. Let's the house that kind of never was, the Hillsborough.
Pushing forward to me? Are you not allowed to
well, let's just see if we can get the sound. We've got the sound.
No, I'm only 12 weeks in. Come on, give me a break.
Try and make a speech, Anthony.
Sorry. Well, the Labour candidate got more votes than me. Do you know? But we've cut their majority in half, and we've unified the party like never before. And we'll go forward now. And we'll look. You know, UKIP's time will come. This will happen. You know, it didn't happen. Hang on. It didn't. Well, hang on. You know, this seat was what, number 72 on our hit list. There's a lot more which will happen. A lot more to come from us. We're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So therefore, you know, we move on, and our time will come.
Serious errors.
This is the Brexit capital of Britain.
Yeah, but look, there's other issues beyond Brexit, and as I say, you know, in terms of where we are as a party on the ground and whatnot, we estimated that we put this at number 72. Look, there's going to be a lot more seats which are going to be more favourable to us in the near future, and you know, we will go on and we will have success in the future. So look, come on, I mean, it's not going to be a problem.
Paul, what happened with your website and Hillsborough and your CV? Do you recognise that was a big factor in your loss?
Well, actually, do you know, the whole Hillsborough issue wasn't an issue on the doorsteps here in Stoke-on-Trent. Obviously, the Labour Party has got a machine. They got their machine out on the day. We did our best. We've fallen short this time. But in the future, it will happen for UKIP. UKIP's time will come.
What about you, Paul? Do you think you'll ever get elected? That's 4 by-elections now.
I am elected. I'm a member of the European Parliament. Well, you know, if one comes up in the future, we'll certainly we'll consider. Okay.
Will you have a better chance in this competition today?
There'll be other seats. There'll be better chances. And as I say, this was only at number 72 on our hit list.
Okay.
Well, look, you know, I'll probably stand in the general election of 2020.
Ladies and gentlemen, done.
All right.
Thank you. Come on, Paul.
Okay, guys. All right.
So that's Paul Nuttall putting a brave face on it there with lots of smiles for a defeated candidate, a candidate who was dogged by controversy throughout the campaign in Stoke on a range of issues, from Hillsborough to his accommodation to claims on his website about PhD, his PhD or lack of PhD, and so on. And in a sense, Mr. Nuttall became the issue rather than the issues that UKIP is meant to stand for. And it seems that that did have a negative impact, and that it also seems, as we watch him being to get through the media scrum there, that, as John Curtis was saying, what was regarded by the media as indeed by the parties, as a two-horse race, actually, because the Tories did not defect to Mr. Nuttall in UKIP, in the end was a three-horse race, with the Tories only a few scores of votes behind UKIP in that, and in actually increasing their share of the vote, which governments don't normally do in by-elections. So there he goes. Not sure where he's staying tonight, but probably not the house that became quite famous during the campaign. There's another result we're still waiting on. On the outside left, but not the complete outside left there. Then the Conservative. I'm going by the results there. I'm being told, one of the great secrets of British politics here, that it's alphabetical order. How original. Anyway, that at least makes it fair. And so there they are in alphabetical order. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candidates there. Not a huge number for a by-election, which usually attracts lots of candidates, particularly from the minor parties here. Copeland, as I was saying earlier, it is Labour's biggest held seat geographically, It's a constituency that's well spread out, stretches from the coast into the Lake District. No huge towns in it. Whitehaven, where the town is taking place, is the biggest one, and we're now going to hear the result.
I, Richard Lee, being the returning officer at the election of a Member of Parliament for the Copeland constituency on Thursday, the 23rd of February 2017, do hereby give notice that the number of votes recorded for each candidate at the said election is as follows. Guest, Michael Patrick Anthony, Independent, 811. Hanson, Rebecca Charlotte, Liberal Democrats, 2,252. Harrison Trudy Lynn, the Conservative Party candidate, 13,748. Ivinson Roy Allen, Independent, 116. Lennox Jack Frederick, Green Party, 515. Mills Fiona Rachel, UK Independence Party, 2,025. Troughton Gillian Ruth, Labour Party, 11,601. The number of ballot papers rejected was as follows: want of an official mark, 0, voting for more than one candidate, 15, writing or mark by which the voter could be identified, 2, being unmarked or wholly void for uncertainty, 23, the total being 40. The electorate, 60,602. Ballot papers issued, 31,108. Turnout, 51.33%.
And we're interrupting the returning officer because this is a remarkable result which has just come in. The Conservatives have taken the constituency of Copeland from Labour, a constituency it's held since time immemorial. They've not just taken it, they've taken it by a pretty healthy majority of 2,147. Indeed, the Tory majority, on a much lower turnout, is not that much smaller than Labour's majority was in the general election of 2,564. And this is historically a major event in by-election history in Britain. And we're going to tell you more about that just in a minute, but let's just hear from the winner. She's now addressing the counting centre. Let's go straight and listen to Trudy Harrison, the new MP for Copeland.
To Cumbria Police for the efficient way in which they have policed the event. What has happened here tonight is a truly historic event. You'd have to go back more than a century to find an example of a governing party taking a seat from the opposition party in an election like this. We've had Labour here for more than 80 years, but it's been very clear, talking to people throughout this campaign, that Jeremy Corbyn doesn't represent them. They want a party which is on the side of ordinary working people, which will respect the way we voted in the referendum, and which will build a country that represents everyone. That's why they voted for me tonight. I want to thank everyone who has backed me to be their next representative in Parliament. People in communities right across this constituency have put their faith in me, a special sort of responsibility. I know that many of them might never have voted Conservative before, but whichever way you voted, I will work hard to be a strong voice for you and to stand up for this very special part of the world. I care deeply about this community. It's the area I've lived all of my life. It's where my family live and work. And it's where my husband and I have bringing up my 4 beautiful daughters. I want the best for my community, and I know that we deserve more to be able to realise our full potential. Local people have backed me to deliver my 6-point plan for Copeland and to support the Prime Minister's plan to make a success of Brexit. And I will not let them down. Whether it's on local services, the nuclear industry, or getting more jobs locally, our area needs someone who can make our voice heard and work with the government to get things done. My promise tonight to you is to be that person. Finally, I wanted to thank my husband, my girls, and my parents for all their help and support during this campaign, and to all the volunteers from across the country who have come to help us make history here tonight. It is an enormous honour to be elected here as the representative for the area that I live in and call home. Thank you very much.
Trudy Harrison there, the new Conservative MP for Copeland. That in itself is a historic phrase. Nobody has been able to say Conservative MP for Copeland in living memory there. And she won with the Conservative vote at over 44% of the votes, a rise of 8.5% on the general election. And Labour result, the Labour share of the vote down 5%. So let's just look first of all, there's the actual figures of the votes. Comfortable majority of 2,147 there over Joe Troughton, the Labour candidate, Trudy Harrison winning the seat for the Conservatives. We said all night it was close, but actually that's not that close, given a turnout of 51% there. In the end, the Conservatives have won this seat reasonably comfortably there. I think the people who run the Copeland by-election did a great job in keeping what was going on from everybody else, not just the media, but from the candidates and the parties too. Here is the crucial thing. Here is the share of the vote. The Conservatives on 44%. That's up, as I say, 8.5. Labour down at 37. That is 5% below. Lib Dems on 7, but as you can see, this was a 2-horse race. Everybody else way far behind. The Liberal Democrats on 7%. That's up almost 4% though on the general election. So another one that's up. UKIP vote down at 7%. It collapses by 9%. And although I don't know for sure, it may be that some of the that's 7% of the vote. There we go. There's the change. Some of that could well have gone to the Conservatives. It's a 6.7% swing from Labour to Conservative. I'm going to say that again because it is quite a remarkable result in a by-election for an opposition party to have lost to a sitting Conservative government. A 6.7% swing to the Conservatives, giving them victory, a historic victory in the Copeland by-election. I will hear from Matthew Hancock representing the Victory Party, and then we'll go to John Curtis.
Well, it's a stunning result. It's a